Welcome everyone to another Malware Geek review. Today we're going to be taking a look at ZoneAlarm Extreme Security. This particular solution is distributed by Checkpoint Software and is the most comprehensive solution in the ZoneAlarm family. When I saw some of the claims that ZoneAlarm was making on their website, it definitely intrigued me and I wanted to give it a test to see if it's really worth the money they're asking, as well as if it works the way that they say it works. So, if we take a look at ZoneAlarm's website, not to bore you with this, but just to show you what intrigued me, it was this right here. Virus-free, 100% guaranteed. I don't think I've seen that from another security company. Of course, maybe I haven't looked too extensively into that particular company's website, but this is like right out there, right in front of everything, so it definitely caught my eye. If we take a look at the terms of their quote-unquote guarantee, they say that virus-free means that you will not be infected by viruses for as long as ZoneAlarm Extreme Security product is installed. The subscription is valid, and you're using their threat emulation technology. You must use the threat emulation technology to scan any new attachments and files before opening and delete the files that are found to be malicious. So my question about that is, scan any new attachments before opening. So does that mean that it's going to work on execution, or does that mean that the user has to do it manually? It doesn't really seem to be very clear. In the context of the guarantee, the term virus means worms, trojans, spyware, and malware. Interestingly enough, riskware and adware are excluded from the guarantee. So, they will not cover you if you have an adware infection, which is interesting because adware has been known to display malicious behavior. I know some adware that will actually install a rootkit on the system, and installing a rootkit on the system is definitely malware behavior. Anyways, this is basically how it works. You easily send email attachments and documents to a secure cloud-based environment before opening them. The files are then opened in a virtual sandbox and behavior is analyzed. Files identified as malicious by the antivirus technology are marked so you can delete them and prevent infection. So, and then they give you some more information down here. So, again, this begs the question, does the user have to do this manually? Or is this something that the product does automatically? Because if it's something that you have to do manually, I don't know how well I like that. Because most, at least novice users or regular users, are not going to want to do that every time they download a file. Anyways, enough about their guarantees and whatnot. Here's the product itself. The user interface I'm not a big fan of. It seems very old and tired out and very dull and boring and not really very snappy and easy to use in my opinion. They've used this one for a while. But if we take a look under the antivirus and firewall tab, you have your antivirus and anti-spyware signature engine, which I believe is run by Kaspersky. You have your advanced firewall, and then your threat emulation is right here. All these are on by default. If we take a look at threat emulation settings, it's enabled by default. Only analyze files downloaded from the internet. That's, in my opinion, kind of, I don't know. I mean, what about executable files that could potentially be transferred to a system via USB drive? That's another way that zero-day malware can spread. If you're only covering files that are downloaded from the internet, you're leaving a gap, and that gap could lead to potential infection. Monitor downloads folder and desktop. So by default, it looks like it only monitors the downloads folder in the desktop. Does that include temporary internet files? Because that's where most malware on the internet starts, at least if you're going to run the file from within Internet Explorer. If you save it to the downloads folder, it looks like it may cover it, or the desktop, but temporary internet files is generally where executable files are going to execute from, and then they're going to drop the payload. So you can add folders in here, but I'm not going to add any folders because I test everything on default. So we'll see how that goes. And then you have application control, which is a way of controlling executable files on your system. Very much like Kaspersky. Then under web and privacy, you have parental controls, which is not installed. Anti-keylogger and anti-spam, which are both off by default. And then you have under mobility and data, you have your laptop online backup, PC tune-up, and identity protection. So we're going to make sure it's up to date. I have some malicious URLs here, as usual. So we are going to see how well Kaspersky, I'm sorry, not Kaspersky, that's who runs their signatures, ZoneAlarm does. And I do have to say that if ZoneAlarm allows any type of malware to infect the system, this is going to be a fail. Because if you say 100% virus free, then you need to live up to that guarantee. So we're going to wait for the signatures to update, and then we're going to do the test. So I'll be right back. Okay, so everything's up to date. We're going to take a look at the memory usage here really quick, because I forgot to do that. It doesn't seem to be very heavy on the system. I haven't really noticed a slowdown in the system, threat emulation, as well as the tray application seems to be pretty light. So no complaint there. So before I start inputting these links, let me turn off Smart Screen Filter. I turn off Smart Screen Filter on camera on purpose so that you know that there's no interference from Internet Explorer's security feature. Let me turn off my web filters 1 second. Okay, so my web filters are off. Smart Screen Filter is off, so let's start punching these links in and see how well ZoneAlarm does. Here's our first malicious URL. Okay, that one was blocked by the web filter. And it popped up a notification here. Like I said, I believe their signatures are powered by Kaspersky. Okay, that one was caught as well. And blocked. Let's try this fake GIF image. That one got caught, blocked. Let's try this gibberish malware. That one got caught. So far, so good. Nothing has been able to load. Here's the next malicious URL. That one was blocked as well. So far, it has caught everything I've thrown at it. Let's try this next malicious URL. I believe this is an infected website, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not seeing anything loading up in memory. Any suspicious type of processes. So it may have been infected earlier, but it doesn't appear to be infected now. So let's move on. That one got caught and was blocked by the web filter. It's a Trojan. Appears to have been detected by the heuristics engine. Probably some sort of dropper that drops the payload onto the system. That one was blocked as well. That's a phishing website. It's nice to see that they're actually catching phishing websites. I don't know if this one's going to work because it is on Google Docs. Oh, it does. Cool. This one actually loaded up. So, let's see. Where did it save it to? Did it save it to the downloads folder? Because this might be interesting to see if... yes, it did. This might be interesting to see if it actually works. Oh, it's a doc file. Never mind. But it was removed by ZoneAlarm. detected by the heuristics engine Trojan. So it was probably some sort of a macro Trojan. So that one was caught as well. That's good to see. I didn't even have to open it, and it removed it. Very nice. Okay, here's our final malicious URL here. And that one was caught as well. Some sort of a generic heuristics response there. Says that it's a Trojan. Again, probably some sort of infected website that drops a payload onto the system. So, that was a clean run by ZoneAlarm in terms of the link test. But let's see how well it does in terms of the detection rate as well as its 0-day protection. Now, the one thing that I am going to do for the 0-day is I believe it would be a good thing to disable this option right here to only analyze files downloaded from the internet. I can't realistically download files from the internet. With my malware pack, I download them on the host machine and then I transfer them to the virtual machine. So, but we're going to see how well the detection ratio is, or how good it is first, and then we'll do the 0-day components. So let me grab a pack of malware, and then I'll stick it on the desktop, and we'll see how well it can detect those samples. I'll be right back. Okay, so I put a pack of malware on the desktop here, and it's already detecting things. So we're going to go ahead and let it, we're going to scan here, and then I'll be back when it's done scanning. And we'll see what the detection ratio is. So, I'll be back. Okay, so here's the interesting thing about ZoneAlarm that I've found. So, Zemana found an additional 29 items left over that were infected or potentially malicious from their signatures. All this stuff here, but ZoneAlarm is still detecting things, and this looks like it may be their threat emulation technology at work. All of these are heuristics detections or otherwise. The one thing I don't like about their scan window is I have to select each one individually. I don't really see an option to select them all and have them remove it. But if this is their threat emulation technology at work, that's awesome. Now my curiosity lies in, does it work on execution, or does it have to work before the executable file makes it to memory? Because not everything is perfect, and they say before opening it, which makes me think that they have to analyze the file before execution. So if we take a look, I think it's still detecting stuff. Yeah, it's still detecting stuff. So we will remove these. So of the 107 items left over, there's 92 now. It removed an additional 15. So let me see what Zemana detects as malicious, and we will see if it actually does it on execution, or if it's going to detect it before that, or if another program accesses the file, if it pops up. Yeah, there's still some malware in there, some copies of malware. We have some adware, we have some Trojans. 369. Okay, so it found an additional 17 items. So it's detected 92 of them. We started out with 437. It's removed, let me see, 437. Oh, let me turn my numlock on. 437 minus 92, 345. There's 17 left over, so we're going to take 17 away from that. that are malicious according to Zemana. 328 out of 437. 75% is what it detected. So let's see. That's average. Let's see if it... Some of these that are actually... malicious. Let's try this one. And that one doesn't even work. Okay, let's see here. 321. This one works though. And I believe it's in memory. Okay. It crashed. And it looks like it was detected by, or at least this executable here was detected by Zone Alarm. I don't know if that's the payload or what it is, but it was blocked. So obviously that was malicious. It looked to be a signature detection though. Let's try... .281. That one's in memory. Right there. And something crashed in the background. That one doesn't work. This one is malware. 252 is malware. Stopped working. I'm just experimenting now, really, just to see how the program responds. That one doesn't work. That one doesn't work either. It could have removed the malicious payloads from some of these, so that's probably why most of these are not working. Here's one that probably will work. Oh, this is an archive. Interesting. It downloaded something from the internet. And so, yeah. Let me make sure I got my math right on that, so I don't bore you guys. So 92. $75. So out of the 92 items, Zemana detected 17 of them to be malicious or left over as being malicious. So not an overall bad detection rate, because some of those actually aren't malicious. 437 minus 17. 420 out of 437. If there were only 17 items left over, it would have been a 96.1 detection rate, which is excellent. So, now I'm just going to experiment and be a little exploratory. I'm going to grab some of these links, specifically the executables, and I'm going to see if it... What just happened? Oh. I'm going to see if threat emulation can detect them if I turn off the antivirus and the anti-spyware. I'm curious. So I'm just experimenting now. So let me go ahead and load up Internet Explorer here. And let's try this gibberish malware first. Let me shut off the anti-spyware antivirus. So we can load up, and let's save it on the desktop because I'm curious. So let's scan it with Zamana first. Okay, it's a Trojan. Looks like it's a Zeus Trojan, to be specific. And let's run it. Let's just see what happens. It disappeared. That's never a good sign. Let's see if we turn this back on. Is it going to catch anything? So it appears that it detects it before it opens. If it's on execution, it doesn't seem to detect it. Even with threat emulation on and the antivirus disabled, it doesn't seem to detect it. So I'm going to end the test now. So my overall thoughts on... I'm not even going to do a second opinion scan. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do a second opinion scan just for the heck of it and see what happened. I'll be right back. Okay, I know I said I wouldn't do a second opinion scan, but I did one. Zamana didn't find anything, and I accidentally closed Hitman Pro, and it didn't find anything either. So really, I have no reason not to recommend this product. I mean, it did what it was supposed to do. I'm kind of confused how their threat emulation works. If it's kind of integrated with the antivirus and anti-spyware, which I'm guessing it probably is, but they have it as a completely separate module inside the program. That's neither here nor there, I think. The most important thing is that it didn't allow malware to infiltrate the system. Now, in terms of the Zeus Trojan that I did try to load there, I did handicap the program, so I can't really hold that against the product. I do wish that they would improve the user interface, but I'm not sure about their 100% guarantee. That still makes me nervous, but again, it didn't really allow any malware to infiltrate the system. So, I mean, I can't say it's a fail because I have no proof that there's any malware on the system, and I'm not noticing any kind of malicious behavior. So I think if you're looking for a full security suite and you're willing to drop a few dimes, hey, it's for you. I personally am not, but I can't sit here and knock it because it did its job. I'm not fully convinced with their 100% guarantee. I think at some point somebody's going to find some way to get through, but hey, it did a good job. So it's kind of, they have an interesting idea here with threat emulation. I think that they need to improve it in terms of the folders, maybe add some more protected folders, because not everybody's going to put their downloads in the downloads folder. Not everybody's going to put their downloads on the desktop, and not everybody's going to download files from the internet. So those improvements would really make it, I think, a complete product. So I have to recommend it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching.